Welcome to part one of Who the Fuck Did I Become Friends With? Inspired by the Who the Fuck Did I Marry saga. Because I think we need to talk about it. I had to write it all down. So here's an account of two people that came into my adult life that were absolute narcissistic, pathological liars. And I am just a naive bitch that just believed everything that they said because I'm an idiot. So let's start out with this girl. We're just going to call her Jill. We became friends because our kids went to school together. We attended PTA meetings together. We did all kinds of school functions together. And I felt like this was somebody that I could jive with. You know what I'm saying? And I have felt Reesa's account so real because you don't exactly know what's going on with some of these people until the shit hits the fan. And then you find out everything that they told you was a lie. So let me move to the part where the friendship went sideways, okay? So it was myself and Jill and another person, another friend of ours, a mutual of ours. We all decided to go on a beach trip. And let me just say that this was the first time I had ever been on a girls' trip, beach trip, ever in my whole life. Like, ever. I've never been out with my friends at all. This was the first time. So we rented a house. We had a great time at the beach, I thought. We even took our kids with us. And it was just a fun time. We ate. We went and sat on the beach all day. The kids played. We just had a good time. Fast forward to whenever we're leaving. Well, I'm leaving. The other two, Jill and our mutual friend, they decided to stay one more day. But I couldn't afford to do that because I had to work. So I packed my kids and myself into my car and we were going to leave and go home. I stopped at the gas station to go get gas to go home and I couldn't find my debit card. I called my friend Jill because surely I have left it at the house we rented somewhere in the room that we stayed in, right? She looked and looked and looked while I was on the phone with her and said she couldn't find it. So panicked, I called my husband and I'm like, hey, I think I lost the debit card. I'm so sorry because I felt stupid. Like I felt really dumb because I had lost the debit card. And he's like, it's all right. I'll transfer the money to your debit card because the debit card that I had was his because he made more money at the time than I did. Did I forget to say that? Anyway, so it was his debit card that got missing. And so he was like, I'll just transfer the money to your card. It's fine. That way you can get home. We'll figure it out. I'll call the bank. It's fine. So I get home and my husband goes to call the bank to let them know that there's a missing card. Like we've lost a card. And there were two charges on that card that I didn't make. One from like a food line and one from a gas station, which clearly I didn't do because I couldn't get gas to come home, right? So I pull up my flip phone and I'm texting my friend Jill to tell her that somebody has stolen his debit card. This is where it gets crazy, y'all. So what she tells me is that, okay, let me back up. So on this trip, my friend Jill is a foster parent, okay? Let me just throw that out there. She was a pre-K teacher and she had signed up to be a foster person. Like her family was fostering kids. I don't know, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. So anyway, she brings this foster child with us on our beach trip. And she says that the foster child went into my purse, grabbed the debit card out of my purse, and she would let her kids put the debit card in at like the places that she was purchasing stuff to make them feel important. And the little girl that was a foster child, I think she was like maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9. The foster child is the one that stole my debit card and put it in the thing. Y'all, I cannot begin to tell you how stupid I feel because I bought it hook, line, and sinker because we've been friends forever. Why would she lie about something like that? And also, this child came from a very broken home, so it would only make sense that given her history that, this foster child may have done some stuff like this, right? So I go to bed and I'm thinking, okay, it's just going to be washed. It's fine, whatever. A few days later, I'm at work because we called the bank, remember? We called the bank and we told them that our card was missing and that there were a couple of charges that I didn't do, right? So, of course, it goes to the next level. They get authorities involved because there are fraudulent charges on our card. So I'm at work and I get a phone call from a detective that is on the case. Okay? This detective tells me that they looked at the footage from the grocery store. I'm pretty sure it was a Food Line at the time, and the gas station. And the person that was using the card was my friend, Jill. Not only that, there was also footage from an attempted charge at a Walmart from Jill on video. I have never been so mad in my entire life. I finished my shift and I went home. When I got home, the only thing, because I worked in a jewelry store at the time, so I had on like a suit, pantyhose, high heels, all the things, right? So I come home and the first thing I did is I ripped that suit off of me. I took off my pantyhose, I threw off those high heels, and I took off every stitch of jewelry I had, okay? My husband come in there while I'm putting on jeans and a t-shirt and my damn kick-your-ass boots. And he goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to her house and I'm going to whoop her ass. And he said, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. And you have two choices. You can either come with me or you can call the law so they can come and arrest me after I've kicked the shit out of her. Because at this point, I am livid. Like I don't think I had ever had that level of mad in my entire life. I mean, honestly, I felt the rage coming from like the inside of my chest all the way up my neck into my face. I can't imagine what my husband saw at the time, to be honest with you. So I get in the car and I drive to her house, which is not even a mile away, right? Had her son not answered the door when I went, I'm going to need to speak to your mother, I would have whooped the shit out of her in her front yard. I am not even kidding you. She was giving me all kinds of bullshit. And see, and I had already told my husband the story that she had gave me about the foster child spending this money. And he said, listen, honey, I want you to write it down. Write down every single thing that she just said to you and read it back to yourself and tell me if it makes any sense. Do you have any idea how dumb I felt after the detective called me and told me that she was the one? I was not only livid, but I felt stupid. I felt took advantage of. She lied to me incessantly for days. Days. And I cannot tell you how infuriated I was at the time. So when I tell you that her son coming to the door and saying, hey, Aunt Bethy, it was like an arrow to my heart, honestly. And I could not, in good conscience, beat the crap out of his mama in the front yard of their house. I couldn't do it. When she came to the door, I looked at her dead in her face and I said, your son just saved your life. And I meant that with every fiber of my being. She started talking about, oh, you don't understand that it was a mistake, blah, 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 blah. Then her husband comes outside and he starts spitting some bullshit. And I was so angry, y'all. There was nothing that anybody could say to me at that moment to make me unmad. I was furious. The most furious I have ever been in my entire life. And also, oh shit, there's going to be a part 2. I love you, bye.